Smell your fear. That was a cyborg commando. Someday I will make a Command and Conquer game, but both Red Alert and Tiberian Sun, mainly Tiberian Sun. I have it all planned out for Tiberian Sun, and someday I'll get to make that game because I loved Tiberian Sun universe. I feel that I know the right way to make shit happen in that universe. Anyway, enough of all that, Dean. Enough of all that, Dean. Oh yeah, another invention just popped into my head. I'll write it down over here in my invention diaries. Sorry about this, guys. Speed. Okay. We're going to be talking about smell-o-vision. So TVs that can make things smell. So the first, after I taught you about, you're going to need to watch the video on chemical continuum theory. So there's a thing called a conductive field. So if you have a red, and where's my blue? Things are piling up. I have to clean this room. Hey. There's another red, and there's a green. We'll do green, okay? So a field is kind of like something that's so pretend there's two dots of matter, okay? And that field is something that's conducting into that other matter and forcing them to be pushed together. So that's what a field is. And using chemical continuum theory, each chemical has its own field. And that field is responsible for the of all the different forces: compression, tension, pushing, conductance, absorption, and expulsion. So all the different types of chemical forces. Now, what you can have is you can have that field in lots of different directions. So it kind of creates a solid lump of matter. But if you want high tensile matter, the actual the fields get rearranged so they're more facing that. So there's more facing that way and more facing that way, and the sides on. That's why ropes are probably easier to cut, because they don't have the chemical fields sticking out the sides. Okay, and the next thing you can do is what's called a chemical wave. It's like a light wave. And this is how I think your body communicates. These chemical conductive fields. There's one thing I'll do it after this, but the chemical, as it waves, it's like it's there, but it doesn't have any mass. And that's how smells work, is you create a concentration wave, but the concentration wave has a zero density. And using that, you can collect thousands of chemicals into a like a screen, and then use a pulsing method to make those waves pulse out into the room. So you'd have like maybe a pack of maybe 100,000 chemicals in your TV, and each of them you could send waves to change the strength of their smell. It's kind of an infinite piano as well, because then you can start mixing and matching them and creating infinitely new waves of that smell-o-vision. There's another thing I like to talk about, which is a limited field. So if you have that one there, the split in the center is the matter, and the green part is the field outside it. Now, instead of the field going on forever like the way they think gravity does, the field acts like a bubble, and it'll only reach a limited distance from the chemical in the center. So that's another thing to take into account. And then the last thing to take into account is stem matter. So stem matter is like matter food. It basically it doesn't turn into any matter. You feed any matter it, and the matter grows, and that's the idea of stem matter. So if you fed the chemical wave into the stem matter, if you fed the chemical wave coming off that into stem matter, you can then grow the matter, the pure matter. So there are the theories behind smell-o-vision and how smell-o-vision would work. The idea would be you'd put a box on your TV with about maybe 100,000 to 1 million chemicals, and then you would just oscillate them chemically to create that chemically oscillating field, and that would create the different strengths of that smell in your room. So that's smell-o-vision. In this video, I suppose, I can talk about another part of that, which is the chemical camera. So that was smell-o-vision. So if you took the grid used to make, so you took the grid with all the thousands of chemicals in them. So you took the grid that you've stored up with, say, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, by say that's 20 chemicals, right? If you took that grid, and as the smells were happening, the grid would give off electrical signals based on the waves, and then those waves could then be used to recreate the smells on the other side. You could also do things like chemical lensings and things like that, so you could create 2D and 3D versions of these cameras that can see the room with millions and trillions and billions, infinite colors. Basically, is what you can do, is you can see them with an infinite range of colors based on smell. So you could create, using cell bots or cell 3D printing, you could create smell receptor cells, and you could 3D print the smell receptor cells and use lensing and things like that to create smell visions of rooms and smell visions of the things around you. So that's smell-o-vision, and I threw in a free chemical camera with that. So the next one I'm going to talk about after this is I call a voltage camera. So that's that for now.